new capabilities because they're starting out with that without legacy to migrate.
So that's interesting, right? You talked about the fact that it's automated, it's instantaneous, it's become industrialized in terms of scale, and you're talking about the fact that it's democratized. But I guess one of the questions that you have is, HBR had this recent thing called the age of relevance, that we're entering the age of relevance. But yet, when you look at it in the financial services industry, we ran this survey for about 100 banks and how relevant they are in terms of, we developed something called relevance quotient. Most people don't think of the bank as being relevant or actually being able to do things for them. What is this a gap? Because it's clearly not technology anymore. And you said it's available to everybody. So why is it that banks are kind of struggling to stay relevant? And clearly the digital banks are trying to come in with a very tech-focused way to try to do this. So what's that thing that's stopping people?
So having already established that I've spent many years in the world of, as you call it, traditional banking, although I have to say none of the banks that I worked in at the time thought they were traditional banks, right? That's the irony of it.
True.
But, so you're going to cost me a lot of friends with whatever I say over here, or I'm going to be buying makeup drinks for lots of friends.
Same friends, Anil.
So here's the thing. I think I said technology is not a barrier because everybody has access to it. But having access to technology and being able to leverage it are different things, right? They say God built the world in 7 days because he had no legacy to start with. And that's true, right? If you're working off of a legacy platform, it's really hard to embed new capability in it without massive amounts of change control expenses and, back testing to make sure that everything works. It's not easy to start with legacy and then try and execute the capabilities that are there. Right? That alone makes a pretty significant difference in how people leverage data. So you're seeing the impact of that when you look at any incumbent industry and the challenger segment within the industry. And I think for us, happy to talk more about the way I think about it, or the way, what and stuff that we're doing at Monzo. I think we're able to start with the end, right? And not have to incrementalize our way to an outcome. And that's a pretty big difference, I think, because we don't need, so you can leverage the best of technology as it exists today. And in fact, you can probably call where it's going somewhat and build towards that end state right off the bat. So which is a pretty big difference.
And could you give us a couple of examples of that? I mean, how, you're doing it, it's designed data first, it's completely designed. It's like, it's like if God created a bank today, right? And that's what Monzo is trying to be.
Lots of examples, right? I'll give you a simple sort of user-facing example. We're not putting an app in front of an analog bank, right? We're a digital bank by design, and people call it digital first, mobile first, things like that. So all of those are phrases which all capture the same thing, that you're building for that world first, and that's what it's optimized for. And almost anything else is an afterthought, right? And the same thing when you think about a data platform or a data infrastructure or anything, you're starting with what the end state ought to look like and what you want to be able to do with it.